Welcome to the Sauce and Gravy channel. This is Johnny Mac, the gravy guy. So your Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner, it went really well, but you have a lot of leftovers. So I'm gonna help you out a little bit and show you how to make a leftover turkey casserole. Something a little bit different, yet tasty, a turkey tetrazzini made with a homemade sauce, no canned soup. So let's dive into this creamy comfort food recipe, shall we? And I know where you're coming from. You spent hours upon hours slaving in the kitchen for that holiday feast. The last thing that you wanna do is spend more time in the kitchen. Well, I've got good news for you. There's not much prep work, only a few items to take care of. Round up one 8-ounce box of baby bella mushrooms, chop them any way that you like. After you wash them, of course, you don't know where they've been. Next up to bat, some fresh shrubbery. Grab some thyme and your blade and go to town. This is gonna stay in your casserole, so you wanna chop it up pretty well. Snag a handful of flat leaf parsley, wash it, chop it. Again, this is going in your sauce as well, so chop it up as best you can. All right, nice work. You're doing a great job. This is the last item up to bat for the prep work. One large white onion. Chop it up. It doesn't really have to be too small. This will give a little texture to your tetrazzini. All right, let's begin the fun part. Let's make that homemade from scratch sauce for this turkey casserole. Drop 1 tablespoon of butter, 14 grams, and 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 15 milliliters into a sauté pan or a Dutch oven over medium to high heat. Once that oil's really hot, add your mushrooms, an 8-ounce box of chopped mushrooms, that's about 227 grams. Sauté these guys on medium to high until tender and slightly colored. Making a from scratch sauce doesn't really take that much time or effort, but the wow factor whenever your friends and family taste it, priceless. Whenever the mushrooms are cooked to perfection, drop in 1 more tablespoon of olive oil, that's about 15 milliliters. Grab your chopped onions and add them to the mix. Your burner, it's still over medium to high heat. Sauté these bad boys until they're tender and lightly colored. You're doing a marvelous job. The sauce, you're gonna be super stoked about this. Homemade, nothing better. At the tail end of cooking the onions and mushrooms, drop in 4 minced cloves of garlic. This recipe is a perfect Thanksgiving leftover recipe. It's quick and easy. Snag that spatula, give it a 360, turn your burner down to medium heat, and round up that shrubbery. The finely chopped thyme. And if you're like me, you bought a nice big pack of fresh thyme to use for that big bird that you're roasting for that holiday dinner. You always have a little bit left over. This is the perfect use for it. After you give it a quick sizzle, drop in some white wine to deglaze the pan, 1/4 cup, 63 milliliters, mix it in. Make sure you scrape the bottom of the pan with a flat bottom spatula to release all those bits and pieces of goodness into the liquid. After all of the wine is evaporated, make a well in the center of the pan. Clear all the mushrooms and onions and garlic to the side. You're doing an excellent job, but now it's time to get serious. You're going to make the roux for this creamy turkey tetrazzini recipe. That'll be your thickening agent, so drop in 5 tablespoons of butter, 70 grams. Once that butter is melted, add 5 tablespoons or 40 grams of all-purpose flour. And I'm always scratching my head. Why do people have to use canned soup? You can make homemade so much better. Why they gotta all use canned soup? Why? You know, it's just one of those mysteries of life. We may never know. But I do know one thing. After you've cooked that roux for about 2 to 3 minutes, it's time to add 1 cup, 250 milliliters of chicken broth. To this, you'll add 2 cups or 500 milliliters of milk. It really doesn't matter what type of milk that you use. Whatever you have on hand, that'll work just fine. But oh wait, there's more. We're definitely keeping the local dairy farmers in business. Heavy cream, 2 cups, 500 milliliters. And for whatever reason, this is the most controversial ingredient ever put into a sauce, evidently. You should see the comments I get. You'd think that it was an absolute travesty to put cream into a sauce. Enjoy life. Put cream in your leftover turkey pasta. The sauce making process for this turkey tetrazzini's come together really well. Spank in some pepper and add a dash of salt. Moving right along. The next step in the sauce making process is to gather up all of that leftover turkey meat from that Christmas or Thanksgiving bird. A tiny taste or two for the chef is perfectly acceptable, especially after all that hard work you've done over the holiday season. For this turkey casserole recipe, you'll need at least 4 cups of turkey. For a healthy touch, a little bit of greenery, some peas. I'm using frozen peas, 1 cup or 140 grams. The great thing about making a homemade or a from scratch recipe is you can make it how you like it. If you want to use fresh peas or canned peas, go for it. If you'd like to use other vegetables, why not? Make it to your taste. Give everything a quick 360 in the burner. It is still over medium heat. Break out your shrubbery, the flat leaf parsley that you finely chopped, and add a pinch or 2. Give everything a mix and bring it to a simmer over medium heat, and once it starts to become thick, you're ready to go, but while you're waiting for it to become thick, you can make your pasta. For this particular turkey tetrazzini recipe, say that 10 times, I'm going to use 16 ounces of spaghetti. If you don't like spaghetti, well, change it up. Use whatever pasta you prefer. Don't cook your pasta all the way through. The instructions on this package say to cook it 10 minutes. I'm only going to cook it 8. While you're waiting for the pasta and the sauce to finish up, you can make your casserole breadcrumb topping. Grate 1 cup of Parmesan cheese, that's about 95 grams, and add it to half of a cup or 58 grams of breadcrumbs. Give it a mix, make sure it's well combined. Now you have all of your main ingredients ready to go to make that casserole. You have the breadcrumbs for the topping, you have the sauce that's been simmering ever so slightly for 5 to 8 minutes, and you have the pasta that's been done and you've put it to the side, you've strained it out, it's ready to go. One question you may have is, how do you know whenever the sauce is done? Well, whenever you do the line test on a spoon or spatula and the line stays, you're good to go. And there's one thing, very important thing, that you need to do before you throw it all together to make that casserole. You need to taste the sauce. All of the ingredients are in the sauce, you've reduced it down, so now's the time to add some additional salt if necessary, or spank in some pepper if needed. Give it all a quick stir to make sure that it's well combined, then you can turn the heat down to low or turn it off altogether. You're ready to move on to the next step. Break out that pasta, and it's always good to give it a taste. Why not? And remember, it wasn't cooked all the way through. It'll cook the remainder of the way whenever it bakes in the oven with the casserole. This recipe could also easily be transformed into a one-pot meal by cooking the pasta up front in the same pan that you cook the sauce in. At this point in the casserole making process, all that you really need to do is mix everything together. And I don't know about you, but for me, using 2 spatulas helps to evenly distribute all the ingredients throughout the dish. It's kind of like tossing a salad. If you don't have a Dutch oven, no worries, that's okay. You might want to consider getting one, but you can also use a buttered 9x13 baking dish. After everything's mixed, just pour it on in. Your last step before popping this creamy delight into the oven is to add the breadcrumb and Parmesan topping. Use the entire amount and evenly distribute it throughout the top of the tetrazzini. This looks really nice, and it's so easy to make. You just whip up the sauce. It's not too difficult to make. You boil pasta. How hard could that be? Throw together some breadcrumbs, drop it on top, pop it into the oven at 450 Fahrenheit or 232 degrees Celsius. Cook it for 25 minutes and then broil it for a couple minutes until the top is crispy and golden brown. And I'm sure that you figured it out by now that I do love the holidays. Good times and festive meals, and the leftovers, they bring such delights like this. Get a load of that bubbly, delicious sauce and check out that exquisite golden brown crust. Wow is all that can be said. So that's it. That's how you make a turkey tetrazzini casserole. The only thing left to do, dive in and enjoy. Thank you for watching the Sauce and Gravy channel, and I hope that you had a wonderful Thanksgiving or a Merry Christmas, and that you had a lot of leftover turkey so that you have a chance to give this recipe a shot. If you happen to be looking for additional casserole recipe ideas, check out this Southwestern chicken spaghetti or this loaded chicken Alfredo casserole. Thanks again for watching the Sauce and Gravy channel. Your support's always kindly appreciated. Remember, it's just you, me, and the sauces. Keep whisking, y'all.